Hello Libra friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Libra October 2023 Astrology Horoscope forecast. This is for you if Libra is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other placement of Libra you're listening for. This is going to be part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Libra friend, so birthdays around October 15th through the rest of the sign or placements around 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Scorpio report as you will benefit from both readings. Calling the theme of this month, Eclipse in Libra rocks your sign. It's not every day that we have an eclipse in our sign. I say our, I'm not a Libra, but having an eclipse in your sign is a very, very big deal. It's a very big deal to have an eclipse cycle in your sign, which started spring of 2023 or fall for you all down under and will go through spring of 2025 or fall for you all down under. So a 2-year cycle was initiated earlier this year. This is part 2, the second chapter. The first eclipse in the cycle was in the Aries part of the polarity, and this one is coming directly for you. What does this mean? Radical changes, big hellos, dramatic goodbyes. Eclipses are wild cards. It may seem like things come out of the blue. They definitely add an electricity to your life. When it's eclipse season, it feels like we've got our fingers stuck in a socket. And this is basically a time for major transformation. And I like to use the word empowerment. When we are going through a cycle, and I am going through it with you because I have Aries rising. So, people in the Aries Libra polarity are going to have 2 years of major transformation. Radical new trajectories, crazy changes in direction, things manifesting on super expedited timelines, things that were patterns or problems forever, your whole life and even before, ancestral or soul patterns, eclipsed out. This is a time for fated experiences and things that are divinely led, and it's time for us to be experiencing them. So this is very much centered around partnerships, relationships, and independence versus synergy, autonomy versus shared experience, and shuffling around those energies, because as Aries and Libra relate to me versus we, as I like to call it, it also highlights in the houses of me versus we in your chart. Okay, so this has very much to do with establishing your autonomy as you go deeper into a relationship and clearing out the cobwebs of bad patterns and codependency and stepping into interdependency, which is a completely different vibration. All of the Libras have a chance for a very big showing of this eclipse. But those of you who are closer to 21 degrees, so between 16 degrees and 26 degrees, the closer to 21 degrees, the more intensity and obvious this will be happening. For the rest of you, maybe there'll be very obvious things happening, but sometimes eclipses happen more on a subconscious level where things are happening, but you're not seeing them externally, they're happening internally. And sometimes it's both. So that's basically birthdays around October 6th through 16th, and the closer to around October 11th, the more dramatic the showing of this. October 14th is the date of the eclipse, but of course the eclipse cycle, like I said, is from early 2023 through early 2025. There are hot spots within those 2 years, the 4 to 6 weeks before and after each eclipse. So we're talking the end of August, all of September, all of October into November is eclipse season. That's when you're most likely to get the big news and events. Fortunately, as we start October, we're finally completely free from the Mercury retrograde cycle. September 30th was the last day of the post-shadow transit period, which means that it's much more clear and easier for you to make decisions from the news that comes from the eclipses. This is very helpful. Also, Venus had gone direct in early September, and now by October 6th, we're completely free of that post-shadow period. So that's going to make it much easier to have clarity and make decisions from the things that are happening. It will make it more obvious what you have to do. Now, summoning the strength and, doing what has to be done are two different things, but at least you'll have the clarity of those planets moving direct. Now, adding to the storyline at this time, we have way more salty aspects compared to sweet ones. Salty aspects are where the planets aren't getting along, and we've got a ton of those this month, an unprecedented amount, probably the most, I believe, in the whole year, are in October. But most of these are just nuisance aspects, like a little road bump, a little frustration, but just kind of know that it's happening. Again, my point in doing these for you is to help you understand the astrological climate so you wear the right clothes and bring the right gear to manage the terrain that you're going to be experiencing. Okay, so you can be the most comfortable and most appropriately prepared for what's going to happen. So this month is a doozy. It's definitely the most intense month of the whole year, I believe. And of course, specifically for you as well. Intense doesn't have to be bad, but change is in the air, and there's definitely no way around that. So some other things that are being highlighted here are your physical body, okay? Or is your physical body. And that is because the eclipse, while it's in the sign of Libra, is happening in your house of Aries, which is the first house, which is your house of your physical body. Your relationship to your body. Are you listening to your body's symptoms as messages from your body? Are you at odds with your body? Do you have healing that has to happen with your relationship with yourself and your self-esteem? Does your body need attention? Do you need physical activity? Do you need different health things, supplements, food? Are these things relevant for you? This is going to be coming up at this time. And also your direction and your self-identification. Who are you and what are you doing? And how do you want to show that to the world? And so there's a really great new opening in those types of things where you make a discovery about yourself, you get some certainty about yourself, and you shine with that certainty out into the world. Besides there being the eclipse in your sign, and of course, birthdays for most of you, happy birthday, by the way. Make sure you make your birthday wishes, write them down, say them out loud, and feel them as if they've already come true. And those of you for whom Libra is not your sun placement, you can still make birthday intentions and use the power of the sun to support the things that you're going to intend to do. Pallas Athena bringing boldness and strategy. The sun bringing warmth, vibrance, and energy. Mars bringing activity and obsessive focus. Transiting South Node bringing karmic clearing. Mercury bringing communication and information. All of these energies are in the sign of Libra, your sign. So you'll be getting connections with these placements. And this is going to activate this sector for you times 5. On the topic of your physical health, you do have a long-term transit that's begun recently. Saturn in Pisces is going through your 6th house of health. We've got health can be found in every sector really, but there are some specifically about the physical health. One is this first house of Aries, which I told you is loaded for you. The second is the 6th house, and Saturn is going there. So if you have any underlying issues, Saturn may be bringing those out and maybe putting pressure on you to take action and be disciplined with your health. If there are things that you know you should be doing or shouldn't be doing, over the next few years, it's going to be much more important to actually implement those things. Many people say, oh, I know I shouldn't be eating or drinking this, or I know I should be eating or drinking that. And this is a discovery process into what you really should be doing. And a little key here, it may not be what you think. There may be something in your diet, like for instance, everyone thinks plants and vegetables are the best thing for everybody. Makes perfect sense, kind of makes intuitive sense. But then there's people who are highly sensitive to lectins, which are in a lot of vegetables and fruit. So this is a discovery process for your journey, not necessarily what people think that you need to have, but what your body is telling you is working for you and isn't. So this is really a deep dive into how you feel after you eat things. I remember I lived in a very, spiritually focused community for a long time. And I remember somebody one time got very haughty with me and explained to me that everybody would benefit from fermented foods and that everybody should eat fermented foods. And this was just the general consensus. And for many people, that's true. It can actually has saved people's lives to have fermented foods and, get those rich probiotics. However, if you have histamine intolerance, as I did, if you have, sensitivities to those kind of things specifically, you can't have fermented food. So if people are saying, oh, eat this, and every time you eat it, you feel like crap, don't eat it. All right. So this is my point, is that between the first and sixth houses being aspected here, you're going through your discovery. It's like you and your body and spirit. What are the messages there, and not necessarily what the consensus or what the social scene. And this is also rolled into the eclipses, because Libra people can be very influenced by the people in their lives and sometimes lose touch with your own messages and your own things. So your body or your intuition could be telling you something. But if somebody whom you admire or whom you're involved with is leading you in another direction, you might trump your certainty. And this is a time about becoming empowered in your certainty within yourself and having that enrich your relationship, not be at odds with it. Okay, so we've got 6 oppositions this month. Oppositions pull us in different directions, make us feel like our energy is scattered and that we're needed in 2 different places and we have to bilocate. So there's going to be a lot of that going on. You'll be feeling extra of that because of the polarity from the eclipse. So you're just going to have to access your superhero self the best you can and do your best on both fronts, of those polarities. We do have a dicey aspect in the days around October 8th. I'd say be on high alert from at least around October 3rd through October 13th. So like 5 days-ish in either direction, could be even a little longer. It could be a little dangerous actually, or a lot dangerous. Pluto conflicting with Mars on the 8th in a square is, it's a very volatile transit. What I love about it is that it can crack you out of a matrix you've been stuck in. So sometimes the need to assert yourself, let's just say on the food thing, okay? This is going to be very common for Libra placements. Maybe someone in your life is saying, let's eat dinner at 6:30. And you're like, I feel better when I eat dinner at 5. Well, we're eating dinner at 6:30, but you need to eat at 5. So there may be a showdown that has to happen. And as long as it's a safe space for you to assert yourself, of course, because, this is a place where if something's not safe, it can become very unsafe very quickly. So just keep that in mind. But this may be a time for you to assert yourself as clearly, gently, and lovingly as possible, that you have to do certain things for yourself and that you would know those better than somebody else. Okay, this is going to be a very, very big storyline for you. All right, so besides that eclipse on the 14th, which, we're starting to really see active from the end of August and will go well into November, we also have the final conclusion of the Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle on October 28th with a 5-degree Taurus full moon lunar eclipse. The end of 2021 through the end of 2023 has been the storyline of this Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle. My stuff versus our stuff. Okay, this is a similar storyline to the Aries-Libra one, me versus we, okay, but this is with stuff, okay? So your financial self-sufficiency, your emotional self-sufficiency, in some cases your, ecological self-sufficiency versus interdependence, dependence, codependence, synergy. There's going to be a lot of reshuffling with your finances and others, and your self-sufficiency and others, and empowering yourself and others. So this is happening, and the final storyline is coming. Now, for Libra, this not only happens in the energy of Taurus Scorpio, okay? So it's in Taurus, but the opposite of Taurus is Scorpio. So when we're having an eclipse polarity there, both of those ends of the polarity are being accentuated. But this is double time for Libra because the Taurus eclipse is happening in the house of Scorpio for Libra. All right, so fullness, completion, fruition, drama, endings happening with something involving you and your relationship with other people. Could be ending of a chapter of a relationship, could be ending of a relationship, could be ending of a pattern in a relationship. And that could be a shared experience, or this could be a point at which there's a break and there's moving on. On the topic of the 8th house, which is other people's money and shared money, sweepstakes, estate planning, borrowing money, loans, government money, other support, capital investment, all investments. Besides the eclipse happening there, Jupiter has also been working there since May and will be there until May of 2024. So there's some expansion of your finances going on in a very big way. If you want to understand these eclipses better, I think I told you about go to the Annie Botticelli, my YouTube homepage, and go to the eclipse playlist. Look for eclipses in Libra, because that's the sign that the one is in. Look for eclipses in Aries or the first house, because that's the house that Libra eclipse is in. Look for the eclipses in Taurus, and then look for the eclipses in Scorpio or the 8th house. And between those 4 videos, you'll get a good, solid understanding of the themes that are working at work right now for you. If you love the dates that I give you and the aspects, and you're interested in the sweet and salty dates, and like I said, we have a ton this month, definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your email address and name right in there to join my VIP community. You'll get my mini astrology lessons. You'll get my monthly write-up that I send at the end of the month for 1 month ahead with the sweet and salty dates and just written summary of the most important things to know, the aspects and how they may affect you. Also, you'll get my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine. And that's a very comprehensive self-development course for free. If you want to learn astrology, go to lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. If you think I put a lot into my free offerings, you should see what I put into my paid ones. You can see my Astrology Basics and Beyond course. And you can see my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Certification course. So those are both at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com, also in the notes underneath the video or podcast. If you want more exclusive content from me, including how to deal with tough transits and Saturn and Pisces deep dive and Jupiter and Taurus through the signs, and how to make the most of the sun every placement it's at, go to AnnieBAstrology.com, Annie, the letter B, astrology.com, and join my secret star portal. I hope you have a wonderful month, a very healing eclipse cycle, and I'll see you next month. Bye.